Alright, we're doing these 65 rocker arms right now. So these are the 58 I just got done doing. So this is what the final product looks like after they're all fitted. So these ones are the two I've already bolted together. So these are the ones that are waiting to be worked on. So these are the ones I've already sanded in the previous video. Cut them all nice and flat. So now we're going to put the pins back in. So we got to put these dowel pins here back into the lid, the top piece. So basically I just put that in there and knock it in with a hammer. And I do that over here on the side of the milling machine. We're not supposed to beat on anything. So naturally we'd never do anything we're not supposed to do around here. It's all the way down. It's in. Get the other one. Okay, then you got take your block, the long side goes down, goes right back together, make sure it's in there all the way, and if you got your numbers right, the hole lines up side to side. If it's off side to side a little bit, that means you probably got the wrong block mixed up. So I pre-stamped these, so they're stamped right here, so these ones still line up. So this is ready to get honed. So I'm going to do the other block now, same thing. The last two dowels. Now these are Harley block assemblies. So these are later blocks. They're made out of different material than the earlier blocks. Okay, long side goes down. Make sure it fits together. Down. You're good to go. Lines up again. The late blocks have a hole over here for oiling. The earlier blocks do not. So these are the 58 blocks here, which are the same as 48. These are made out of a different bronze. This is more of a raw bronze material. This here is probably like a nickel bronze material. They have different shape, different numbers on them. So this has the oil hole up in here. This one does not. So they just made some changes. This has original arms in it still, which has the, except that one's not original. This one's an original arm. It has a separate riveted in, hardened cup that goes in them, and the tip of the rocker on the valve always has a grind on the top like this. The aftermarket rocker, this one here, is full radius. So here's one that's open. So you can always tell the aftermarket because they're fully radiused around. They don't have that flat spot like that on the tip. So that's a good way of telling. This is all one piece over here. It does not have the separate riveted in cup in there either. Now Harley might have went to this style later on with one piece here, but they still had the angle cut up in here. So that's your difference in those. Now these always wear in the one spot, which is right in here. It wears at an angle like this. You know, sideways, whatever, the way you see it. It wears an angle like this relative to what the straight. Instead of being straight, it's like this, because that's the way the rocker arm works. It always wears more on the valve side than the rocker side, or the push rod side. Get that straight. So when you push up on this right here with the push rod, the load goes over here like this across this surface, so it goes down the side. And on the intake, you're on the other side, the valve, I mean. So the load's on this side of the rocker arm. And it goes a little bit further down too. And they always wear really heavy right through here. You can see the wear marks in here. These aren't wearing very much because they don't have that many miles on them. So these are a little bit better than the other ones were. So I still got to regrind these tips, but right now we're working on this part. So this is 7/8 diameter, standard. So I use a reamer to set the hone the diameter to, which I'll show later. And then this is a hand reamer. Adjustable, so I use my tap driver, and we go ahead and bolt these together, and we ream them with this, and then we hone them. So this is a new tool I just started using. It works pretty good. The 58 was the first set I used it on. It looks really, really nice. Now before you can do that, you got to hold these together. Now if you just put bolts right here and tighten them up, they don't necessarily bolt together like under loaded condition when they're on the head. So what I do is I take 2 blocks and bolt them together as a unit like that. So it'd be like this. And you can hold them both together. And this more duplicates the actual condition is on the bike. So the closer you can duplicate what's on the bike, the better for fitting all your parts are. I just use bolts and nuts. Make sure you put washers under the heads. And I just tighten down the zip gun. Okay. So I use a cross pattern when I do this. I tighten and I go X pattern to the next one down here. Tighten it. And go back up with the other one you missed. And use the X pattern again. If you want to know how tight it is, there, it's that tight. It doesn't really want to move. Yeah, it's pretty tight. So, obviously if you see any kind of a gap in here, you got something wrong. Shouldn't have that. Okay, so these are ready to be reamed now. So we're going to do that over here on the vise. Right over here. 2 block assemblies. So I'm just going to hold it here on the bottom. Actually, wrong direction, dumbass. Then it'll be super tight, just a little bit. Okay, you take the reamer right here. It's a hand reamer and adjustable, so you adjust this here for what you want. So this is adjusted for about 1 thou less than what we want final. Probably a couple thou less actually. But so we stick them in a hole here. Now this will pilot. This reamer bows here in the middle. So under here it's undersized and here it's undersized. So when you put it in, it'll center and then it'll cut the size and it'll drag away so it won't drag. So it's a self-centering type thing, which is really good for something like this because you obviously don't want to make it go a certain angle. And this isn't removing much metal, as you can tell. A little bit down here at the bottom it is. You always want to rotate the direction of cut, not backwards. If you go backwards, it dulls the reamer. So. Pretty much letting gravity be down feed. There you go. So we only remove about that much metal, not very much. Doesn't take much. So when you ream it, you can see how it lightly cuts it. Not too much. And now we just hone out the size. You can still see the low spots where it doesn't cut, because you can't make it cut over there where it's worn away. You can only, when we grind all the surface of the hole, instead of being round, it went oval shape. So we just made it more round with the reamer. Now we're going to hone it to final round. So the reamer eliminates a lot of work. You can still see how this one here didn't even really touch. You get a little bit of a lip right here where it hit, and everything else in there, the reamer didn't even touch it. I think didn't grind quite enough away on these. Of course, we didn't know that until we did the first one. Now, next time I do it, I know. Put a little extra. I'm being a dumbass there again. Oil in there. This is sun and honing oil is what I'm using for cutting fluid. Okay, see this one here has more of a cut. You got loose there in the middle. Just cut again. Actually cut quite a bit. Surprised. That's the most one I've cut yet. And this one's going to cut quite a bit too. It got loose. Alright, took quite a bit of metal off that one. I'm surprised. My airline's not hooked up. Gonna blow the crap off the reamer so you don't get it all over the place. So we blow it all over the floor. That way it doesn't get all over the place. Alright. Over here again. Oop. There we go. Okay, this is the second one we did. This one did a lot more cutting. But you can still see the low spot in there where it didn't cut. Even though we cut quite a bit of metal out. Still got low spots. So anyways, here's what it is. Okay, now we go over to our hone. Do some honing. So that means we get to go right there. Close enough. Okay, here's that reamer. I don't use this. I use a shank. So this is 7/8 of an inch. And when this goes in here, it's the right size for a normal rocker arm. Now the reamer will make it so it's not so out of round. Before I used to just hone them. You see, you used to jump real bad and try to rip out of your hand. Sometimes they'd drop out and these studs would rip the hell out inside your hand. You gotta make sure you're holding on when you do these jobs. How smooth it is, pretty even. This is more out around, you hear it. See it jerking around more in my hands. Here, not quite. Okay, they go in there. Now we can go ahead and give it 2 more strokes to the clearance. You gotta go 3 strokes. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. This is still at around 4. Alright, so that's the final. hopefully that's the right side. We'll have to check it later. Okay, I'm going to do this one. Same thing. Too far out around. It's already the size too. Quite going in, not quite going in. One of the more on these. Do both holes, get a couple strokes both ways. Over. Again. That keeps the hole straight and true and round. Put the oil in there to clean the grit out. And that goes up pretty good now. Nice and loose. Feeling a bit looser than these now. Just a couple more strokes. Alright. I gotta take these and clean these. And then we'll come back. We'll assemble them up and see what they feel like. So we'll be back a few minutes. Alright, got these all cleaned up. That's what they look like in the holes now. They're not 100% cleaned up. You can still see the low spot. It's the darkish area right down there. So these things don't clean up 100% when you do these. This one here cleaned up a lot better than normal. I guess I ground enough off that one. See how little this one cleaned up? It's pretty dark in there where it's not cleaned at all. The other side looks pretty good. So that's the part where it's worn pretty heavily. Everything else looks like it's cleaned up pretty good, so it's just this one here. The steel part is way off. Didn't clean for squat. So anyway, they are what they are when you're done. So gotta deal with that over there now. I just found out that I got these 58 rock runs laid out here, and I got 3 of one and 1 of the other. And it takes 2 of each, not 3, so I have to grab a rocker arm here and steal one out of one of my kits to fix it. So this is a brand new kit. It doesn't even move. There it goes. It's full of goo. I'm going to take this one apart. Steal a rock arm out of it. Back together. And replace them. We got time. Alright, so this gives me a new arm. You can see the part that was all stuck right there on it. Call that acid etching, otherwise known as corrosion. So we want to file that down slightly here, or sand it down a little bit smoother. Make sure there's no high spots there. So it's a honing stone for mill work. So make sure there's no high spots in that area. You see how this dropper arm is ground completely different than a stock arm. Here's one of the ones that there was replacement for one of the other jobs. See, it's completely different shape, size, everything. So I got to regrind these things. Alright, so this is going to be a brand new arm. So I'm going to put this into the 65, possibly. This one here is the same arm, but it's got a little pit going on it. So I think we'll go ahead and put this new arm onto the other bike. Yeah, they ground the tip completely different. The whole bottom of this one's gone relative to how this one's ground. So we'll have to see how accurate this is going to be. For now, we're going to figure that one's going to go there. I'm going to put this one in the 58. This was actually worn pretty heavy, so that actually works out. So it'll be tightening up the 65 arms and making this one a little bit worse. This here just make sure the high spots are off. Now this one here, the ball cup is already broken in, but you can still see it's pretty rough on machining. But you can see how rough this one is. It's pretty, really rough. So you can lap these in with some lapping compound if you want to smooth them up a little bit, or just let them wear themselves in. Obviously if you use lapping compound, it'll be a little bit better job. Alright, so we're going to have to use this on one of these three over here. So now we take these apart, pick out the worst one. Okay. They're all pretty equally worn. Yeah, like all three of them are pretty much the same. This one's a little bit rougher over here on the side, so I'm going to call this the worst one. So I'm going to take that one out. I'm going to take this one here and put it in a right spot. I got to make sure this is a good one now. Alright, so that too has to be checked. Then we got to check these. Meantime, I'm going to take my stone here and hit these other ones and just clean them up. Just making sure there's no high spots on here. We are going to be cleaning these at least one more time before they go together. Probably two more times because I got to grind the tips, which I'll have to grind them each time. Each time I grind a tip, I got to clean them, and then I'll have to final clean before I assemble my final time. I'll clean them again. So they have a lot more cleaning time in here. So we're going to check out each one of these galleries, make sure they're open and flowing oil. I've had them when they were plugged up. When they're plugged up, half the rocker arm doesn't get oil, so that's not a good thing. Alright. Now you can see how good these are ground, or honed, I mean. Dropped one. Pretty good. Okay, we take a rocker arm. Okay, the long side is the push rod side, the short side is the valve side. You can see how that cleaned with the reamer. See the reamer cut it out and it didn't actually hone back there. That's not very nice looking. Yeah, it's kind of a crappy job. Don't like that part. And this side over here, you can still see the light remarks, but it pretty well cleaned it all out. It's 99% clean. So this part I like, the other part I don't like. I'm just never happy, am I? Make sure that works. Seems to be working so far. It doesn't matter which arm goes where because it's all the same. Everything's starting new, so there's no original material wear on anything. Everything has to be rebroken in. Otherwise I would have marked the rocker arms just like I did the blocks, make sure they're the same. Already have a problem there. This one's tight. It's that brand new one. Feels like there's something. It's got something jammed up in there. Feels like there's got a big burr on something. Okay, this one here is real nice. Nice and free. A little more up and down clicking. You got side to side clearance, which doesn't really mean that much. But there's no up and down, but we're not hearing an up and down click, click, click. That's gone. That's how we rebuilt them. Alright, so this one's good, this one's not good. I'm sure that's the arm. Okay, that one's good. Okay, let's go see if we can figure out what the hell the problem is. Piece of junk in there. Don't see anything. I don't see the spot where it was hidden. Somewhere on here is a high spot. Take our stone, go across the whole surface. See if we come across anything that resembles a high spot. Don't feel anything there. Alright, wipe it off. Nice and free now. Okay, we have to check this block over here because it's a new block. Okay. Okay, this one works good. Okay, this is the one that was tight before. I felt something there, but it went away. Now it's loose. It had like a little piece of crap on it. I'll give it a little love tap. Kind of make sure it's gone. I hit all 4 planes. So there's no drag anymore, it's free. So whatever that was, it had a little high spot in there, a little piece of grit in there or something, I'm not sure what. But whatever it is, it's gone now, it's working. So that's good. I can live with that. So whenever you come across a problem, you get to work through it. You see how that reamer cut quite a bit through there again. I don't know why it was doing that. Top looks good. Yeah, the other set of arms, it didn't do that. Just rock these back and forth to get them apart. Sometimes you just push them back together and start over. That doesn't even work on this one. There it goes, a little bit. There, you get just the right angle. Looks about the same as the other one. They didn't go back together, see? Get both sides to start. There it goes. That one didn't like me too much. See how it likes me being full tight. Got a little tight spot in there. This one feels good. Something in there. Got grit in there or something, you can feel it. Feels like grit, not anything else. Look for something that's got a piece of grit in it or some kind of a mark. Don't see anything in there. A clean rag. Good my shirt. And for anything that kind of looks like a drag mark. Can't tell if there's something over there or not, so we'll just knock it down. See if that was it. You can see where it was at. It was this line right here. So that's what it was dragging on. There was something in there. It was up on this surface here. Right through there is a little bit of an area. Double check it. Don't really feel anything, but obviously you can see the remark that it had something in there, so. It's good and free now. Yep. That's why it's important to do good cleaning. These haven't really been cleaned that good, they're just kind of mocking them up. A little piece of grit caused issues. Yep, right. Still got something going on in there. Something. Yeah, something is not. Still in there. Whatever it is, it's causing a problem, obviously. Alright, we got to give that a quick rear hone. See if that takes care of it. Look at the rocker a little more. See if that's it. I keep clean, it's still there, so. Something's not right. It would wear in, but that's not how we do it around here. So where's the bad arm? Oh, I think over there. Maybe this new arm right here is my lock up. Look how flat those things are. They're not very good. See, now the mark goes all the way around the whole thing. There's got to be something in here, I just don't feel it. Yeah, it's not this. You can see the mark was in there all the way around. Whatever it is, put a nice gouge mark in it. Alright, I'm going to use my external hone on this to see if I can find the problem. Let me go over here and get my external hone. It's down here on the pile. Be this thing right here. I don't like using this because it takes so long to do it. Looks like I can probably almost slip that through. So you basically got to take this thing completely apart to use it. Which is kind of a pain in the butt. It's actually a lot of pain in the butt. We'll go that way. Let's try this way. Nope. See how much work you got to do to use that? So you take everyone completely apart. Takes you a couple minutes there to do that. Alright, I got some honing pressure on it. Ooh. Hear that? Feel it? Yep. Too much pressure. Chattering a little bit. Okay, slide it down the rest of the arm over here. Ah. There we go. It's pretty hard to hold these in the lathe. It's not really anything to grab a hold of, so you can do them by hand. Still works. Just not, takes more effort. Getting a little bit of a chatter there because the way I'm holding it. Alright, that should be smooth though. Let me get to unscrew it. Take the tool apart and get that out. So we can take our tool and put it back together. Alright, it's ready for another go later. So now this has been externally honed. The reason you call it external is because we honed the external surface, not the internal surface like a regular hone does. Alright, so there's what the hone looks like on it. Smoothed it up quite a bit. Still got the low spots in there, but it definitely knocked them down. Not as much on that side, but pretty good. Okay, clean off with my clean towel there. Clean this off again. Try this again. It's the third or fourth time now, I forget. What am I doing wrong? Dumbass put it together wrong. The long side goes on the bottom, not the top. So you can't mix them up, see? Still doesn't like going together. Get her now. Alright, try this again. I don't want to use this aftermarket crap if I don't have to. Alright. Oh, look at that, it works nice. Yeah, you just want to be worked on more, see? You can feel a little bit of up and down on that one. And that one too. Not enough to cause clicking, but that's probably because I wiped all the oil out of it. You can actually just feel a little bit in there, so. Alright, well at least the crap's out, or whatever the high spot was, it's gone. I got rid of it. So now they work. You just want to be worked on a little bit more, see? Nothing's ever happy. Alright, so 58, got the 65, they all work. And make sure you got even sets, that'd be 2 of each, not 3 and 1 like we had. Pair, yeah, 2 and 2. Alright. Now we got 2 equal sets now. Okay, so these all have to be ground now. But before I do that, I get the heads done so I can see how the geometry is going to be on these. Going to have to work on the geometry. It's not just a matter of regrinding these, we have to make sure they're in the right spots. So that's a little bit more effort, more time. Panheads take a lot longer to do than any other motor out there, except maybe a knucklehead. They're harder. But they take about equal amounts of time. Alright, so that's it for the arm part now. We get to move on to the heads next. So that'll be the next thing to do.